Welcome to Arsenal, where the weapons and war machines of military history come to life. Today, we explore the Minuteman III missile and the Land-Based Nuclear Deterrent from the Cold War to the present day. If you enjoy learning how technology, tactics, and human decisions come together in combat, you can find more articles, podcasts, and resources at trackpads.com. Far below the windswept plains of the northern United States, the world shrinks to fluorescent light, humming electronics, and the ticking of clocks. Two missile officers sit strapped into their shock-mounted chairs inside a buried launch control center, sealed behind a massive blast door. Above them, the sky is clear and full of stars, but down here, the constellations are rows of status lights representing missiles scattered across hundreds of miles of farmland. A printer chatters, a klaxon sounds, and the crew turns from quiet routine to tense checklists in a heartbeat. The room suddenly feels very small. They read an emergency message together, one voice calling out each line, the other repeating and confirming. Fingers move across switches that could, in the right circumstances, send nuclear fire over the pole in minutes. Every step is governed by thick binders, memorized procedures, and a culture where two-person control is sacred. Arsenal is the Friday feature of Dispatch U.S. Military History magazine. In this cramped capsule, that abstract mission becomes a human experience of responsibility and fear. The machine they watch over is an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, called Minuteman III. It is the product of a time when planners worried that earlier missiles and bomber forces might not survive a surprise attack. Early liquid-fueled missiles were powerful but slow to ready, and they sat in vulnerable above-ground sites that an enemy could easily find. Bombers depended on exposed airfields and crews who needed time to launch into the air. Solid fuel in hardened silos promised something different. Strategists wanted a land-based force that could absorb punishment yet still hit back with devastating effect. Solid fuel meant no frantic fueling while enemy warheads were already in flight. Hardened silos buried in the interior of the United States made it difficult for any adversary to be sure of destroying them all. Adding accurate guidance and the ability to carry more than one warhead on each missile meant that even a fraction of the force could threaten many high-value targets. Deterrence rested on making any first strike a losing gamble. Minuteman III was not drawn on a clean sheet of paper. It grew from the earlier Minuteman family, which had already proven the basic concept of a solid fuel missile in a buried silo, watched by small underground crews. Engineers refined each stage of the rocket for better thrust and control, while fitting more capable guidance into a compact package. They redesigned the front end so the missile could release several nuclear re-entry vehicles against separate targets. At the same time, they kept the overall size and layout close enough that existing silos and support systems could be adapted instead of rebuilt. At a technical level, a single Minuteman III is a tall stack of 3 solid fuel stages, topped by guidance equipment and a re-entry section. It sits on support equipment inside a deep cylindrical silo, surrounded by cabling, environmental controls, and safety systems. The site is designed to endure blast shock, ground motion, and electromagnetic effects as much as possible. From the road, the location looks like a simple fenced pad with concrete and antennas in an empty field. Beneath that modest surface lies an intricate machine built for the most extreme mission imaginable. Human life with the system plays out mostly in the launch control centers and in the teams that patrol and maintain the field. Missile officers ride an elevator or stairway down to their buried capsule, pass through the blast door, and strap into place for long alert tours. Status checks, communications tests, and practice messages break up the hours. Above them, security forces guard the site and escort maintenance teams to silos that need attention. Civil engineers and communication specialists keep power flowing and data lines working in all seasons. Everyone's effort exists so that if a valid order ever arrives, nothing fails in the few minutes that matter. Minuteman III has no combat tale of missiles streaking out of their silos under enemy fire. Its closest approach to use comes in the form of test launches, when selected missiles are removed from their silos, refurbished, and fired from test ranges toward distant impact zones. For crews watching from far away, the sight of a bright plume arcing into the sky is proof that the silent system still works as designed. Strategically, each successful test also speaks to potential adversaries, reminding them that even an aging fleet remains accurate and reliable. The real battlefield is in the calculations inside command posts and planning rooms. From the viewpoint of those who serve with it, Minuteman III's greatest strength is its constant readiness. Solid fuel and simple external support let the missile sit on alert for long periods with careful monitoring and scheduled maintenance. Hardened silos and dispersed basing across wide areas of the northern plains make it hard for any enemy to be sure of destroying the force in a single blow. Repeated tests and inspections build confidence that if the system is ever called upon, it will answer. Quiet reliability is the core virtue here. Yet that same fixed basing is also a weakness. Silo locations are known, and rival planners have studied them for decades. As missile accuracy improved worldwide, the idea of attacking silos directly with precise warheads became more realistic. That raised hard questions about whether land-based missiles might create pressure to launch quickly. Supporters argued that hardening, redundancy, and careful procedures still made the force stabilizing. Critics worried that any posture dependent on fast decisions around such weapons carried its own risks. The debate continues as long as the missiles remain in the ground. Over the decades, Minuteman III itself has changed. Early versions carried multiple, independently targetable re-entry vehicles, allowing one missile to threaten several distant sites. Later, arms control agreements and policy choices reduced the number of warheads per missile in the interest of stability and transparency. Guidance units were modernized, rocket motors were refurbished, and command links were upgraded with new electronics. Other land-based missile projects came and went, but Minuteman III stayed in its silos, quietly updated by successive life extension programs. Today, Minuteman III stands as the only operational land-based intercontinental missile in United States service, even as work proceeds on a future replacement. Its long service has shaped how the country understands the nuclear triad of bombers, submarines, and land-based missiles. It has trained generations of missileers, security forces, maintainers, and support staffs who built careers around alert duty and field work. Their stories, along with preserved launch control centers and decommissioned missiles in museums, give the public a way to see and feel a system that is otherwise hidden and abstract. For visitors who walk through a former launch capsule or stand over a sealed silo lid at a historic site, the experience is often quietly sobering. The consoles, chairs, and heavy doors are tangible, familiar objects, but they are tied to a mission on a global scale. Photo archives and video collections show missile fields in winter snow and summer heat, test launches at night, and crews going through drills that they hope will never become real. Behind each of those images are lives spent balancing routine and responsibility in service of a weapon that is meant to prevent the very war it is built to fight.